Hi folks, how's it going? We got an interesting one today on this thing. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? There's an interesting story. First of all, how we figured out what it even was, and then the daring do's of the people who used it, and the amazing, ever-evolving technological races that surround objects like this. Last weekend here at the museum we had Vila from Solder Club come and run a DIY synth building workshop. Thank you to the folks who came along. It was really great to see you all chatting and telling stories of all the different projects that you're working on and exchanging tips and ideas and things. If you want us to do more events like that so you can come along, let us know in the comments. But Vila not only ran the workshop while she was here, she helped us fix a few things around the museum like the flip dot display, and she's working with her mate Bart on another flip dot project which they're going to share with us here at the museum so we can install it here as well, so keep your eyes out for that. We also had some fun trying to revive some old synthesizers with mixed results.
Oh, no, we have some Gladstone on! Oh, shit!
But most amazingly, she's gifted us one of her MIDI Madness makers, which converts touch sensors and other kinds of sensors into MIDI signals that you can plug into anything that accepts MIDI signals. She cut some aluminium Furbies, hooked it up to it, and now we can control the organ. I'll link at the end of this one to the full video, well worth your time. We did have some downtime though, and we chose to spend that, of course, going to other museums. If you've been down to where the museum is based in Ramsgate in Kent, in the southeast of England, you know that there's loads of other cool stuff going on as well. We're lucky enough to have two aircraft museums right next to each other. It's really funny. In Ramsgate, museums seem to come in two. You've got these two museums, the Spitfire and Hurricane Museum and the RAF Manston Museum right next to each other, and you've got our museum and the Micro Museum next door to each other as well. Incidentally, those two museums are just down the road from that UAX13 telephone exchange building that we talked about in a previous video. You're definitely not short of things to do when you come to visit Ramsgate. I hope you appreciate me going out to get that one shot of the museums for you, because my bike broke down in the process. Don't worry, it was only an easy fix, some gunk in the fuel filter, but if you want to see videos of me fixing this thing up, that's on my channel, Hack Modular. While we were at the Manston History Museum though, I noticed one of these in a case, and it told me on the label that it is a Monica radar. Now, we've had this for a little while. It was donated by the Lucian Nunez collection, but we didn't really know what exactly it was. We guessed it was a radar, but we didn't know exactly what type, and there's no markings on it that we could see to tell us exactly what model or how it was used. So I got really excited when I saw one of these in the case and did a little bit of research. We've talked about radar before on the channel. It's an acronym that stands for Radio Detection and Ranging. It's using radio waves to detect objects around you and track their speed and distance and size and things. Obviously very, very useful in many different applications. And we've got a fair collection of different radar related objects in the museum, not least these gigantic hydrogen-filled thyrotrons that are 12 kilovolt switches somehow used for radar. I don't know exactly how. If you know, let us know in the comments. And of course we did a long video before about the cavity magnetron, an incredible innovation that was so secret at the time that it was only allowed to be fitted to aircraft that were flying over the sea. That's because if they were shot down, the technology couldn't be recovered. You can go back on our channel and see the video for that. I've since come across an even bigger collection of cavity magnetrons that I somehow forgot that we had. This place is so incredible that sometimes you just forget that we have amazing things. I mean, these things are pretty rare. We've got a dozen of different types. So yeah, pretty cool. I think it's safe to assume that this is only part of the Monica radar system, the actual display screen. You can see quite clearly that it's valve-based technology. Apart from a few specialist applications like guitar amps, you won't really see many valves around these days. They were kind of the precursor to transistors, and they can be used as switches or they can be used as amplifiers. Typically they're a glass encapsulation that has some kind of low pressure gas inside that allows electrons to shoot across gaps, and you can manipulate those and change their direction or impede them in different ways to achieve different effects. And you'll hear the terms valve and vacuum tube used interchangeably. Just like a valve on a water pipe, when it's turned, it allows more water to flow through. Electronic valves work the same way, but with electrons. So you can control the flow or the current. It's funny that we use the same word for water and electricity. It's extremely clever stuff. I'll leave some links below if you want to do some further reading on valve technology. This big thing here is also a type of valve. This is a cathode ray tube, and they are as cool as the name makes them sound, and you'll be more familiar with them, I'm sure, than you think, because these are what's used in all kinds of old school television sets. You basically have an electron gun at one end that shoots a stream of electrons at the back of a phosphor coated screen. This is your cathode ray, and where the electrons hit the phosphor, it excites it so that it glows in a visible light spectrum for human eyes. You can steer that stream of electrons with a magnetic coil, and so you can move the beam around the screen and draw an image just like an Etch-a-Sketch, but super fast. So when you think about it, old school televisions and a lot of other things are particle accelerators in your house. They're not just gigantic scientific experiments that run underneath Switzerland. Let's have a little look underneath. It's very of its age in terms of the components used and the construction method. We've got the knobs on the panel here which go via a big connecting rod to the potentiometers. We've got a rotary switch actuated on this big long shaft here with potential for multiple different gangs of connections coming off, and those go over via wires coated in this is a plastic coating. Some of the old wires were cloth covered. It may be cloth covered then with a kind of resin impregnated into it, but it goes over to this arrangement here. This is called a turret board. It goes by a few different names, but essentially it's a piece of phenolic resin plastic. Bakelite is a brand name of this type of phenolic plastic. The first type of plastic made is combination of phenol and formaldehyde. It's very good with high temperatures, and it's pretty durable, which is why they used it for early kind of circuit boards like this. This is before you had printed circuit boards that we use nowadays. So you've got a piece of plastic which insulates all of these metal connection points, which are kind of riveted onto it, and you can then solder your components across, like these resistors here, these carbon resistors, and we've got various different types of capacitors as well. And then they can be interconnected as you like and going off via these wires to the other components. We've got the back of these valve sockets here as well. Around all of the nuts and bolts, you've got this residue, which I suspect is left over from some kind of equivalent of Loctite that they've used, so that they don't all rattle loose, because of course this was fitted in an airplane, which is going to be all vibrating and stuff. And the whole thing is mounted on a chassis of punched and pressed aluminium, I believe, which is a cheap and quick way to manufacture something very light, which is important as this is going to be in an aircraft. You can see from this picture that I found of another Monica radar that we are missing a front section here over the screen, but no matter. So I suppose I should actually tell you where this might have come from. This would have been found in a military aircraft, specifically on Allied bombers during the Second World War, like this Avro Lancaster. This is our R1155 radio receiver and T1154 transmitter that would have been used on planes just like that. And eagle-eyed visitors may have noticed the unassuming Lancaster bomb release button hiding in one of our cabinets. It's interesting to see that on the radio set and on this radar monitor, you've got quite chunky and colourful knobs on there. And I think they're not just there to look pretty, they serve a function because these crews are in the dark. You don't want to give away your position by turning on a light. And they're also flying at altitude, so they're going to be freezing cold. So you're going to need quite chunky and colourful knobs so you can differentiate and operate them in the dark with gloves on. So as I said, these were fitted as tail warning radar in the back of bombers. They tell you if someone was being sneaky and coming up flying behind you. Because even if you've got a tail gunner that's looking out the back, sometimes the visibility is so bad that they won't even see them. There would be a dot on the screen which would show you their range, but that would be it, not the size of the object or anything. They were introduced in 1942 by the RAF and they were also used by the Americans. But this is where it gets interesting, because when one of the bombers was shot down, the German Air Force recovered the pieces of Monica from the wreck, examined it, determined the wavelength of the active radar signal that was being sent out, and developed their own machine called the Flensburg, which could listen out for that signal in order to home in on the bomber fleets. Sneaky buggers. The Royal Air Force only realised this was happening when Junkers Ju-88 got lost and accidentally landed at RAF Woodbridge. They looked through all of the equipment and found the Flensburg radio detector and immediately took all of these monikers out of the bomber fleet. So now you can see why the concerns about the cavity magnetron being recovered from shot down aircraft were quite valid. If we take a look underneath again, we can see this nice modifications record where we've got some hand scrawled notes of when those modifications took place, and the dates there say 1945 and 1946. But we know that these had been taken off of the planes at that point for the purpose of tail warning. So my suspicion is that this has been modified for use for ground mapping radar to tell how far the plane is off of the ground. I find this tit for tat back and forth competing technology to be quite fascinating. You see this in all different realms, including the commercial world, where people are trying to circumnavigate patents, and it leads to a lot of innovation. So the Monica tail warning radar, amazing technology, but turns out counterproductive. I hope I've done a good job of showing you that there's more to see in this area of the world even than this museum, which is pretty good in itself and worth a visit. There's loads of other museums and attractions, and in my opinion some of the best coastline in the UK. So if you've always dreamed of coming to the museum and you're travelling from further afield, why not make a holiday of it? We're open here every weekend of the year, 1 till 4 in the afternoon. We've got merch that you can only buy here, but there's also stuff on the website like the sample packs that you can download to support what we do, and you can give one-off donations for the YouTube super thanks, or buy us a coffee, or through PayPal, or you can subscribe on the Patreon and get extra bonus videos and good stuff as well. Pretty good deal. Remember to let us know in the comments if you want us to run more workshops like Vila did for us, learning how to solder together DIY synths, but we could also do workshops on how to use the synthesizers, or anything you can think of. Let us know your ideas. And remember to check out that video on the MIDI Madness Furbies. Thanks for watching, guys. Click the subscribe button so you can catch the next video. I hope you enjoyed yourself in this weaving story of interconnected technologies that we have on display here at This Museum's Not Obsolete. I just realised that the screens behind me are probably making you all feel sick. Oh, sorry about that. I'm not going to reshoot the entire video now. Sorry. Well, click on one of these videos while you're here. All right. See you later. Goodbye. See you at the museum sometime. See ya. Merry Christmas and all that. You're still here. You haven't clicked on one of the videos.